An ancient martial artist awakens in a future where starships are powered by internal energy. Buckle up, because we are diving back into a world where lasers and cultivation collide. This is a massive spoiler warning for the Korean webtoon Space Cheon-ma 3077. The story follows Mok Jin-lee, a legendary martial artist from 2000 years ago who finds himself resurrected in a neon-drenched future. In the year 3077, humanity has colonized the Andromeda galaxy, but they brought the old martial world laws with them. Interstellar organizations now govern the stars, where might makes right and ancient techniques are more valuable than starships. Mok Jin-lee is the ultimate wildcard in this high-tech game of power, possessing secrets that have been forgotten for millennia. As he navigates this new world alongside bounty hunters like Seryong, the legends of the past begin to cast a very long shadow over the future of the galaxy. The journey continues in a barren wasteland where the echoes of ancient power still hum in the irradiated air. Robed martial artists gather in these desolate ruins, their presence signaling that a significant discovery is about to be made. Tension ripples through the group as a glowing golden object, resembling a sacred seal or an ancient tablet, is finally unearthed from the rubble. Mok Jin-lee watches with a serious expression, sensing the weight of the history attached to such an artifact. The atmosphere takes an ominous turn when a masked figure appears in the darkness, watching the retrieval with predatory intent. Soon, the scene shifts to a blue-lit cosmic chamber where a pale-robed master confronts a mysterious dark-haired woman. Their discussion is cut short as the region is engulfed in a violent clash of red energy, proving that the struggle for this golden seal has only just begun. A high-speed pursuit erupts across the dim landscape, with figures clashing in a blur of motion streaks and high-tech weaponry. Red action flashes illuminate the gloom as the pursuit turns into a full-blown combat sequence involving both machinery and internal energy. Blue-white energy effects flare up during the clash, suggesting that powerful barriers or weapon activations are being pushed to their limits. The survivors eventually regroup in a brighter, golden-lit chamber to discuss the escalating threat. A white-haired man and a darker-haired warrior stand at the center of the debate, their eyes fixed on a red-toned, armored presence that looks like a monstrous machine or a transformed fighter. Before any strategy can be finalized, a large golden beam of energy overwhelms the entire area in a blinding explosion. When the light fades, a lone figure is left standing against a bright, empty space, watching as silhouettes move through the shadows of the void. Warnings echo through the tall windows of a formal meeting hall where the elite have gathered to address a supernatural crisis. The air suddenly shimmers as a glowing portal begins to tear open in the center of the room, swirling with debris and golden light. A brown-haired young man and a companion in dark armor stand their ground, but their resolve is tested when a massive entity with glowing red eyes steps through the rift. This being radiates an aura of pure intimidation and heat, filling the space with a suffocating pressure that forces the masters to react. A blonde hooded figure speaks with an eerie calm, seemingly explaining the arrival of this supernatural force as others watch in shock. The aftermath of this emergence leaves a fallen body amidst the rubble, and as the dust clears, a fiery warrior figure begins to power up amidst rising flames, signaling that the confrontation is entering a new, more lethal stage. Deep within the silence of a dim cave, a long-haired fighter sits in quiet contemplation beside a small, flickering fire. His weapon is planted firmly in the ground at his side, reflecting a state of both exhaustion and profound spiritual focus. A robed figure dressed in reddish attire eventually approaches, breaking the silence to deliver a message that seems to trigger a massive transformation. Suddenly, a violent surge of orange energy erupts from the seated man, engulfing him in a brilliant fiery aura that shakes the cave walls. This isn't just an outburst of rage, it feels like a spiritual transcendence or a breakthrough in cultivation that the fighter has been chasing for a lifetime. An armored observer watches the event with clinical interest, noting how the fiery power expands into a bright, concentrated impact. The fighter braces himself at the center of the inferno, pushing his internal energy to a level that threatens to shatter his physical form. A figure engulfed in a fiery transformation reflects on a journey toward the infinite, haunted by the memory of those they could not protect in a past life. This spiritual reflection is interrupted as the setting shifts to a high-tech facility where a girl in a beanie monitors holographic data. Her peaceful work is shattered by an intrusion that the facility's advanced sensors completely fail to detect. A silver-haired individual with long, straight hair is discovered sitting in a dimly lit room, appearing perfectly at home despite being an uninvited guest. A woman in a dark military uniform confronts the intruder, her shock growing when she realizes their presence was invisible to the security systems. Their tense dialogue touches on a secret experimental project and the mess that humanity has made of its own evolution. The silver-haired intruder speaks with a chilling detachment, making it clear that their arrival is just the beginning of a much larger plan to clear the digital board. An older analyst with graying hair sits before a massive holographic display, obsessing over historical records of a legendary warrior known as the Heavenly Demon Supreme. He cross-references this ancient data with current surveillance footage of a young man in a black hoodie, noticing an aura that defies modern logic. Someone has clearly gone to great lengths to erase all digital traces of this legend, but the physical evidence walking through the streets of the future is undeniable. In a nearby high-tech facility, a woman in athletic gear watches the same young man as he enters a pressurized door, her eyes narrowed in suspicion. She observes him from a balcony under the light of a full moon, questioning what kind of monster could possess such an unusual presence. The name Cheon-ma begins to ripple through the shadows of the city, as the realization set in that a power once thought dead has returned to claim its place in the modern age. The story takes us to Planet Tortuga in the year 3077, a dangerous world in the Andromeda galaxy where the inhabitants only emerge at night to avoid the blinding sunlight. A young man and his female companion find themselves cornered by a mysterious purple-haired woman wearing a black blindfold. She accuses them of being thieves who have stolen a treasure meant for her faction, the Black Heaven. The female companion tries to defend the boy, claiming he is the true successor, but the blindfolded woman remains unconvinced. To prove his identity and his strength, the protagonist steps forward and clenches his fist, manifesting a brilliant, cross-shaped celestial light that pulses with raw internal energy. This sudden display of legendary power shocks an older man watching from a throne, who realizes that the boy truly possesses the successor's strength. The protagonist's direct demonstration of power challenges the blindfolded woman's assumptions, forcing her to reconsider who is really in control of this dangerous planet. Following the tension of the city, the young protagonist in the black hoodie finds a moment of respite as he shares a meal of noodles and skewers with a blue-haired girl. The girl, who wears a distinctive eye patch, expresses her surprise at his progress, realizing that he has successfully mastered secret arts that few can even comprehend. As they eat, they are being watched by a man and a woman in red martial arts attire, who are carefully evaluating the boy's growth. The protagonist refers to the man in red as his master, a title the man seems to both accept and scrutinize as they discuss the boy's future cultivation. The blue-haired girl joyfully hugs the protagonist, bringing a rare moment of lightheartedness to an otherwise heavy situation. However, the masters remain focused on the boy's potential, discussing the massive challenges that lie ahead as he continues to unlock the forbidden secrets of the past and draw more attention from the galaxy's elite. An older leader in red robes takes the protagonist aside to recount a dark piece of Planet Tortuga's history from the previous winter. He describes how an interstellar module escape pod plummeted from space and crash-landed on the planet's surface, forever changing the balance of power. Flashbacks show a powerful, armored warrior emerging from the wreckage, surrounded by a terrifying blue energetic aura that froze the hearts of all who saw it. The narrator explains that everyone who encountered this individual met a gruesome end, and even the strongest local forces faced catastrophic losses. This survivor is now feared as an interstellar monster, a force that is simply too overwhelming to be contained by any known martial art. The young man listens with an eerie stillness while eating his snack, his lack of fear suggesting a deeper connection to this monster than he is letting on. The beat ends with a red-eyed woman watching him, her gaze reflecting the lingering terror of that star-born arrival. In a hidden subterranean chamber, a young woman with an eye patch is preoccupied with her physical growth, noticing how her clothes are becoming tight as her body develops under the pressure of her training. Her companion, dressed in red and black, explains that this growth is a direct result of her internal energy finally opening her growth plates. The scene then transitions to a modern facility where the group discusses the difficulty of sensing each other's true power when everyone is intentionally suppressing their aura. While they share a meal, a much more brutal confrontation is occurring in a separate location. A muscular man with glowing eyes and a silver collar is locked in a high-tension battle against a mysterious figure wearing a bucket-shaped helmet. This strange opponent remains calm, performing a ritual with joined hands before an explosive blue energy discharge tears through the room. A figure in heavy silver armor is briefly glimpsed through the smoke, leaving the outcome of this duel hanging in a state of deadly uncertainty. What makes this stretch of the story so fascinating is how it anchors itself in the mystery of the successor versus the monster. We are seeing a high-tech society that has completely forgotten its roots, only for the strongest legends of the past to come crashing back into the present. Mok Jin-lee isn't just fighting for survival, he's fighting to reclaim a legacy that has been erased from the digital records. The demonstration of the cross-shaped celestial light proves that the power of the black heaven is still alive, even in the Andromeda galaxy. However, the introduction of the interstellar monster suggests that the protagonist isn't the only ghost from the past to return. This creates a fascinating three-way conflict between the modern corporations, the resurrected martial legends, and the unknown starborn threats. The cliffhanger involving the bucket helmet warrior suggests that even the protagonist's current allies might have terrifying secrets of their own that are about to be revealed as the power scales continue to skyrocket. If you're ready to see more ancient demons conquer the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next update. This journey into the year 3077 is only getting more intense, and we'll be right here to explain every detail. Catch you in the next one.